What's up, y'all? Yo, Strill Life, what's up, man? How's it going? What's cracking? Dude, heck yeah, man. Appreciate you saying that. Yeah, I find the schedule very helpful too, just to kind of like stay on the grind, stay motivated. So yeah, man, when you can carve out time, make it happen. Nice. All right. So that's one beat on Lofi12XT. What else we got in the old bag of tricks here? This is a fun one. Let me play this here. Just wasting time? Dang, man. Yeah, it's tough, man. It's tough. But yeah, that's the cool thing about streaming too, is that, oh, dang, this thing turned off. Is that, yeah, you catch someone's stream, then it motivates you to like, you know, work on music, or maybe you stream and then someone else watches it and motivates them. So yeah, man, we can all kind of inspire each other. I think that's a cool way to look at it. So yeah, man, definitely do what you got to do to get in front of the old groove boxes and make it happen. Not a requirement, but it's fun. All right, so yeah, that was just a couple beats on Lofi12XT. Let me load up another project here to kind of cue us up for what we're going to be working on. Maybe I'll just do this one, black box. No, yeah, because today I've got an idea for our concept here, which I've got a sample that we're going to be chopping up and making a beat with. But yeah, I'm kind of just doing another experiment with using these two devices kind of like in synced together. So I had done this a couple weeks ago maybe, and I'm going to try it again, which is basically to have this thing kind of be like the sort of drums and rhythm section and maybe a couple other samples go on here. And then to have this thing be working on like the melodic type stuff. Because this sampler is really cool in that it's like stereo and you've got like a lot of different play modes. Like you can do like ping pong looping and a couple other kind of FX type stuff on here, which is cool. Whereas on this thing, it's like mono, you only have a certain kilohertz sample rate or whatever, so it's kind of lo-fi, as is evidenced by the name. But yeah, I feel like combining these devices can get, you know, a little bit more options with the melodic stuff on here. And then on here, this thing is just really good with like the rhythm section, just because it's got like the pads and the step sequencer and all that cool stuff. So that's the plan. Let's go ahead and get into it here. Got my new project loaded. So we'll do a blank pattern too. We got that. Let's take a listen to the sample, see what we're working with here. Oh man, I don't even know what all this stuff is. Okay, to do, to do. Yes, and the sample today is called Transcend Time. So check this out. It's not playing anything. All right, troubleshooting here. Mix, external in. Why can I not hear it? No data. Sorry, y'all. Appears my internet's being a little funny today. I think we're back up though. So yeah, hopefully it doesn't happen too frequently, but if it does, I will do something about it. Anyways, but yeah, so D Carmichael Carmichi says basically what you're doing is slicing up the sample and making a new beat from it. Yeah, so I'll be chopping the sample, and then yeah, I'll add the rhythm section over here, and yeah, we'll be basically making a beat out of the sample. So yeah, it's a good way to describe it. But yeah, let's take a listen and see what we got here. And then that's where it ends. But yeah, it's got a cool kind of like stand-up bass sound to it, and then sort of like a eerie kind of key progression or chord progression or whatever it's called. So yeah, I think this will be a fun sample to work with. And if you're interested in downloading it, you can for free. Just hit up the Patreon, and if you're a free member, you get access to all the stuff that I work with on the live streams. So that's my plug there. But yeah, let's go ahead and okay. So what I need to do here actually is set some slice markers. So we're going to lazy chop on M8. Let me pull up the M8 window here so you can see it. And yeah, basically the way it works on M8 is you hold the play button down, then you tap edit, and it kind of puts the markers in, and then you'll have to do some editing too probably. So let's see if I can figure out where I want these. Kind of lost it there. Yeah, sometimes when I'm putting in the slice markers, I'll kind of just like beatbox along with it. So that's why you see my mouth moving. Because I'm kind of like creating the drums like in my mind while I'm listening to the sample, and then that's where I'm putting the chops, is like where I would imagine like the kick and the snare and stuff like that. So hopefully that doesn't look too weird. But yeah, let me redo this one actually. All right, let's see where I need to fix these, because you never do it perfect with the lazy chops, but it's a good way to just get them out there quickly. Yeah, we don't got the 0-point crossing on this boy, let me tell you. I'm probably going to put some attack on this too, so it kind of like ramps up and gets rid of some of those pops, but it's still a good idea to try to at least address some of the more like louder ones. Let me bring this back a little bit. Yeah, and that's another thing I do to kind of like audition the slice is I just play it like a couple times and see if it's got a good enough rhythm for me to lock it in. Okay, enough chopping. I think we are good here. So I'm going to overwrite. Got a decent amount of slices. How many do we have? Whoops. There's 1F slices. So whatever that is in hexadecimal, it's probably like 30 or something. Okay, so now what I can do is set the slice mode to 0-1 file. So now we are going to be referencing those slices when we play the sample. And another thing I want to do is set up the Lofi12XT to where I can push the buttons and it'll play the slices, because that makes it a lot more fun. So let me do destination volume here, put some attack on this. ADSR. All right, and now I gotta do some MIDI configuration. So you want to check the rec note channel on M8. Right now it's set to 0.9. That's what it does by default. I'm going to turn off all these channels too, which you can do by setting them to 0, just so I don't accidentally trigger instrument 00. All right, so right now it's not listening to any MIDI channels on the tracks. All it's doing is listening for this rec note channel, which lets you control the most recent instrument you selected on the M8. Yo, Gigi, what's up, man? Gotta ask, why no keycaps? I get this question from time to time, so thank you for asking. The reason why no keycaps is, dude, look at that nice slim form factor, bro. Look at how freaking small it is. I'm telling you, this, with the keycaps on, it feels a little bulky putting it in your pocket. Dude, with the keycaps off though, definitely pocketable without too many accidental key presses. I mean, there's still going to be some depending on how tight you wear your jeans, but yeah, man, I think without the keycaps on, it becomes very easy to just slip it in there. So that's kind of why I keep it off. And I've become quite used to it. So now I just kind of like am rolling with it basically. But yeah, it's just to make it easier to kind of transport is essentially the long and short of it. Okay, so yeah, rec note channel 0.9. So now I got to do some stuff on Lofi12XT. And by that, I mean I got to select a track and do MIDI and make sure that the track I selected is set to channel 9. Beep, bop, boop. I also got to make sure I'm sending MIDI out. So we got to do out to MIDI. No in from. Transmit node is yes. So it should work theoretically. Oh yeah, do you see? So the notes are coming up. So when I'm pushing the pads, it is doing something. But right now I'm playing notes that are too high up. So it's not controlling the slices. The slices start at C1. So we got to go all the way down. Tight. So that definitely works. This thing is loud enough too, I think. Yeah, volume's at FC. Could probably crank it a little bit. Let's do volume D0. Okay, and then one other thing, dude, heck yeah. Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm telling you, man, you take them off and it's just like, boom. You can take it anywhere. It's pretty crazy. But I know it's not common practice. So a lot of people see that and they're like, ugh. It's like someone not wearing their clothes or something. But yeah, anyways, let's do one other thing here, which is I want to set this play mode. So right now it's playing forward mode. So when the slice plays, it just plays from the start of the slice to the end and then it stops. But I want to change this to forward PP, which stands for ping pong. And basically what this will do is when I play this sample, it'll go to the end and then it'll come back, which is pretty sick. So you get a little more sustain out of the chops, basically. And it's sometimes called sustain chopping. So that's where that comes from. And then another thing I kind of want to do is adjust some settings on Lofi12XT. So I'm just going to do that in the background here. And then one last thing, I know we got a lot going on here, is I kind of want to mess around the pitch of this sample. And you can do that a couple different ways on M8. The simplest way to do it, especially if you have slices set, is to just use this detune parameter. So every 10, or it's every 10, which is like 16 in hexadecimal, it'll basically bring it down one semitone. So you take a listen here. Nice. So yeah, usually I'm just messing around the pitch until it sounds kind of interesting to me. I like it pitched down generally just to give it more of a kind of, this sample has sort of a darkness to it, I guess I would describe it as, dark vibe. So bring it down even further, it gets you a little bit more of that, I would say. But yo, what's up, Alistar? Dude, Beats Toy a Spine? Dude, what's up, what's up? And then D Carmike00. The M8 display looks very crisp. How are you mirroring it? Dude, that's another great question. So the M8, it actually has this kind of like built-in way of capturing the display. So what you're looking at on the left here, it's not a zoomed in version of this screen. It's actually outputting the display through this USB connection. And then that is just a program on the computer. So it's basically just a website you go to called m8.run. So it makes for great content with regards to videos and streaming because you do get like this crisp version of the display without needing to like, you know, get the reflection of the, yeah, you can see like my fingers over it and stuff. So yeah, just a cool thing about M8 is that you can capture the display super easily using a USB connection. All right, so let's get some sample chops in here. Let me go ahead and, I don't even know what our tempo should be, to be honest with you. Oh, whoops. Put this here. So yeah, let's get some drums in the mix next. And like I mentioned, I'm going to have the rhythm section be on the Lofi12XT, so I just need to record some samples into there, and we will be rocking. So let's load some stuff up here. All right, so there is something I want to adjust here, which is the envelope. As you can hear, this snare has like something that comes after it. It's like a whack. I don't know what it is. Must have been something that I sampled it from. So yeah, we can do an envelope, pretty simple, volume, and see if we can kind of like gate that sound a little bit. It's kind of growing on me, to be honest with you. It'll sound interesting with other elements of the rhythm section, so we'll keep it in there. And then I just need to record it onto the Lofi12XT now, so let's do that. We'll just do it on track 1. Level seems good. Nice and lo-fi. Crunchy. Okay, and then this is another part that I haven't set up yet, so I got to do this. So basically, I want them to play in sync. So I need to have this send the clock to this. I haven't even picked a tempo yet, but I've just been working at 90, so we'll keep it at there for now. Okay, so 90 BPM. And then I believe there's a setting on the M8 that allows you to receive the clock signal. So let me check that. MIDI settings, sure. Oh, here we go. Sync in. So we've got clock, transport. So clock would be receiving the tempo. Transport is receiving the tempo and controls like the play button. So we definitely want that too. So we'll do clock and transport. There are a couple others as well. SPP is start position pointer, I think. I don't really know too much about that, so I'm not going to mess with it. And then this is all three. So yeah, we'll do clock plus transport. Okay, and with that set up, theoretically, I should be able to just press the play button and then they'll both start playing. I said theoretically, so I did qualify that. It's clearly not working. So I think the other thing I need to do is settings, MIDI, oh no, clock. No, that's correct. Okay, I gotta go to MIDI, config. And I think we need to do clock out, boom. Set that to on. And then command set to transmit, so it'll send the play button. So with all that said, yo, just the way we like it. All right, let's find a kick drum next. This one sounds pretty chill. Ooh, look at that beefy waveform. You gotta love it. It's not too much going on here, so yeah, let's just go ahead and record it in. Nice, and then let me adjust the pad settings here so we get some velocity sensitivity. Jacob, what's up, man? Yeah, technology at its finest, that's for sure. The M8, solid tech. This thing's pretty dope too. We're making it happen. Alright, so we got kick and snare. Let's do hi-hat. Something like that. Get down with that. Usually takes me a long time to find a hi-hat, but we got right to the correct one, which is hat 0258. Make a note of it. Okay, I think this will get captured in, so let's do that. It's gonna normalize it though, check this out. It's like hella loud, so we're gonna turn it down. Yeah, these things work pretty well together, to be honest with you, because yeah, the M8, it's very tough to do like kind of a, you know, tap in something live type of feel when it comes to really anything, because you have to program stuff so specifically. Whereas on this thing, you're kind of being able to like jam out, so you get the best of both worlds by using both devices, is kind of what I've discovered. All right, what else do we need here? Maybe like an open hat? All the same. I gotta clean my folders up. So yeah, let's record that in. All right, and this one I'm definitely gonna really clamp down on the gate so that when I let go of the pad, it like stops playing. It's very loud too, so we'll turn it down. Alright, so now I'm going to duplicate this sequence. So the cool thing about the Lofi12XT is that each track has an independent length. So you can have some tracks that are like 2 bars long and some that are 4 and some that are, you know, whatever. I think the most is probably 8, I think. So right now this is only 1 bar. They're all only 1 bar. So I'm going to make this 2 bars by going config, hold function, and turn the length. So instead of 16 steps, it's 32 steps. And then now I'm going to delete this note from the first half of it, so it'll only play on the second half. If I turn it down a little bit. And then I'm also going to set up a mute group so that when the open hat and the closed hat play, they cut each other off. So it's like kind of like a real drum kit, I guess. And you can do that also from the config page. Set the choke to, I think this is like the number. Let's see if this works. Yeah, so this is like the choke group. So they're both set to choke group 2. So 2 will mute each other out. Taste is saying, I love recording samples sped up into lo-fi, then pitching them down. That's where the real flavor of lo-fi comes in. Yeah, dude, definitely. And that's like kind of a classic sampling technique. So definitely good to do is, yeah, pitch things up, then bring it back down and kind of like get that crunchy lo-fi sound, basically. All right, so we got a basic rhythm section here. said only the Lofi12XT can do lo-fi? Because we got M8, dude, this degrade parameter. Makes it nice and crunchy. Basically, it's reducing the bit rate or something, but it gets it nice and lo-fi, so it kind of matches the aesthetic here. But yeah, Strolife is saying, I think I asked before, but do change the scale ever in the Lofi12XT or have a go-to scale? You know, I've been messing around with that more lately. I don't have a go-to one per se. I do know like the minor scale is usually a little bit more for like, I don't know, it's got like a kind of emotional component to it, which I think is cool. But yeah, I don't really have a preferred scale, but I am learning more about how to use the scale mode. So I might be able to answer that question probably in a couple weeks. But yeah, this thing's got like a million scales, dude. It's pretty nuts. So you go to sound, pad, and then yeah, right now it's on chromatic, major, minor, harmonic minor, blah, blah, blah. All this stuff. Super Locrian, dude. Super duper. Major blues, diminished. Dude, they've got these sick like Japanese ones too at the end. Dude, Hirajoshi. Iwato. Dude, Kumoi. Dude, these things are sick. Chinese, whole tune, whole half, fifth. So yeah, you got a lot of options with this thing. Definitely a lot of scales, but I haven't picked a favorite one just yet. I'm going to keep messing around with it though. And then that guy Nate90 says, in terms of accessibility, would you say it's friendly for beginners? Are you talking about Lofi12XT or are you talking about M8? Because this one I would say is like maybe a little bit more on the advanced side. I mean, once you get the hang of it, it's not bad. This thing though is pretty simple. Yeah, it's got like the pads that help you kind of create your patterns and sequences. It's got the step sequencer buttons, so it's super easy to tell, like, you know, when you're putting notes in where they are. So yeah, I think this device is like very user-friendly and like beginners can kind of jive with it pretty quickly as far as a sequencer and sampler goes. Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, man. Yeah, I would say this one is definitely, yeah, on the lower end of like the challenging difficulty spectrum. Not hard at all, as opposed to other samplers which have a bit of a learning curve. And then Mike is saying, hi Jay, I dig your live jams. Your loops have really wicked harmonics, your signature, so to speak. Any live FX on the lo-fi, like SP404 has? Keep it going. Greetings from Prague. Dude, hell yeah, man. Shout out to Prague. And thanks for writing in. Harmonics on the Lofi12XT. This thing, it really doesn't. I mean, other than, like we were talking about earlier, if you pitch up the sample and then record it in, it gets that kind of signature like bit crush lo-fi type sound to it. Other than that though, the effects aren't really that crazy, to be honest with you. Yeah, it's kind of got just like basic sort of, you know, what you'd expect type things. How do I change this? It's like so embarrassing. Oh yeah, type. Yeah, nothing that really speaks to me. I mean, sometimes I use the crusher effect to like get drums sounding even more lo-fi. But yeah, all the rest of it is really not as crazy as like there's even a vinyl noise effect, but it's definitely not the same level as like the SP404, like vinyl simulator, cassette simulator type stuff. So yeah, it's not too crazy, but I mean, they work in a pinch. So I would say, yeah, you can get some interesting sounds out of it, but probably not on the same level as like Roland's like very fine-tuned SP effect suite that they've been working on for, you know, decades or whatever, since all the SPs have come out or whatever. So yeah, just something to think about there. All right, what other sounds can we add to the arrangement here? This is normally where I'd add a bass, but we've already kind of got that like bass in the sample, stand-up bass. Let's just listen to some bass and see if it kind of jives with it. bass on its own works pretty well, so we'll just keep it where it's at. Let's see what else we got. What notes are like in key. What else we got? Sounds kind of sick. Yo, Kazi. Appreciate you saying that, man. It's not just great on its own too, but it works very well with other devices. Like right now, I'm basically just sending MIDI to this thing to like play sounds. Here, let me show you. So I'm pressing these buttons, but the sounds are playing on this, but it can have its own sequence. So all the drums are loaded on this and sequenced. So yeah, man, it's very versatile and also, yeah, beginner friendly, like I was talking about. So hopefully it doesn't trigger your gas too much, but yeah, I've been having a lot of fun with this thing. let me tell you. Take a look at this sample though, because yeah, I might have to trim it a little bit. Yeah, because it's kind of got some delay on it, and I sort of want to just have the main part of it, and then I can add my own delay, should I choose. So it seems like maybe this is the main part. Could probably trim some of the beginning off too. Alright, I think that's good. So we're going to crop it, and then I am going to save a copy of this, so I'm not messing with my originals here. Overwrite. Okay. And then now I can play it using the keys. right, let's keep shopping around for some samples. Yeah, and something I like to do with the rhythm section is I've got the one shots already sequenced, and then I throw in a drum break and play a couple slices here and there just to kind of like add a little bit more movement to the rhythm section. I feel like this drum break's kind of interesting. It's got a lot of these like rim shot snares that might sound sick. Oh, whoops. Whoops. But yeah, it's definitely not at the same tempo as the project, which could be a problem. So we can do a little like lo-fi time stretching on the M8. The Lofi12XT doesn't have time stretching built in, nor does the M8 actually, but you can do this like weird LFO trick to kind of get a sort of hacky time stretch. I haven't done it in a while, so it's good practice to try and do it. So let's see if I can remember how this works. So we've got C4 here. And then what you want to do is set the play mode to loop start. Okay. Or not loop start, forward loop, I mean. And then I think you put like the length all the way down to like 1. Okay, let me just pause it. All right, so yeah, you've got the length low, forward loop mode. So we're doing pretty good so far. Then you have to go to the mod page up top here, and you do destination loop start. And then you have to do oscillator type ramp up, and then trig needs to be retrig. And then I think this is like, so right now it's at 1-0, which is one phrase. So depending on how long the drum break is, you need to set this to be how many phrases it is, or how many bars basically. I think this is a 2-bar drum break, so let's see what frequency 20 does. Just as a test, if I lower the tempo, it should continue to play at like the same pitch. So it gets pretty lo-fi. Sounds pretty good. I think the tempo was already close to 90, but doing this kind of like makes it so it is 90. And another good sign is that it's looping correctly. So yeah. All right, so I did that. Now I'm ready to resample it, or sample it into the Lofi12XT, I should say. So let me actually just set something up here so I can do that. All right. Okay, that's 90 BPM, so that works. And yeah, I basically had to create a phrase for it because you can't just press the play button on it. You have to like actually have it play through. That's how the LFO trick works or whatever. Okay, so minimize this and we're going to sample it into track 5. Our levels look pretty good, so let's do it. And how does it sound? Nice and fat. All right, so waveform looks pretty good. I'm going to turn velocity sensitivity off, and let's go to slice mode and set some chops in. So got some slice markers in there. I think we should be good. And then let me just delete this from the sequence. All right. Yeah, so I kind of got lost in the sauce there. I just want to keep you all updated on what I'm doing. Basically, I sequenced the sliced drum break, and I put like a filter on it just to kind of like bury it in the mix a bit. So it's adding some interesting kind of elements to the rhythm section. Now I'm just kind of going back through the other one shots and moving stuff around a little bit to kind of keep things interesting, because most of it was just one bar. So I kind of want to extend things, make things 2 bars and stuff like that to keep the rhythm section sort of like moving and keeping you guessing and stuff. That's kind of weird. Nice. So I was kind of messing around with the sonics of the kick drum as well. And one trick that I do want to try is using some sidechain compression to kind of make the kick a little bit more audible. And there's a really cool way to do that using the Lofi12XT. So it does have sidechain compression as one of the master effects. So let me just do that. Okay, SC comp. And what's really cool is that they added an update to this that lets you use the sounds on the device to duck external audio. So it's not just sounds you have saved here, but we've got the M8 running its audio out into the Lofi12XT, so we can reduce the volume of the incoming signal when the kick drum plays, is basically the goal here. So let's turn this thing on, and then I'll keep those settings the same for now. And then you have to set a sidechain source. So the source we want to be the kick track, which is number 2. And then you have a target as well. So this is what decreases in volume when the kick drum plays. And so for this one, I'm going to set it to external. So everything that's playing on the M8 is going to go down when the kick drum plays. So let's see how it sounds. very pronounced, so I'm gonna try and dial it back a little bit. Nice. Dude, that beat turned out kind of sick. Let me save it because I haven't done that this whole time. Just imagine if the power went out and I lost that sick beat. So I'm going to press save and we'll get started on a new one very shortly. right, so we got it saved on M8 and we got it saved on Lofi12XT. Which is kind of ridiculous. You have to save it on both, but that's what happens when you work with multiple devices. You have to create copies or save projects on both. I guess there is one other thing I could do here, which is take the input audio from this and record it onto the Lofi12XT. So we just have this thing with the audio here. I don't really do that too much, so I do kind of want to mess around with it and see if it's practical. So yeah, we'll do function record. And then from here, I think, I don't know, I could try and split things out a little bit, or I could just record it as one kind of condensed mix down. So I guess I'll just try doing the condensed mix down first. And then now I think if I press play, it'll just start playing. It's only 4 bars. And so now I can do the sequence here, set this to 64 steps, 4 bars, and then I just put one note down at the beginning. And then I turn the envelope off so it doesn't kind of fade out like it did just there. And then now let me like mute this out, I guess. Okay, cool. So now when I press play, I think you're just going to hear this and not this. Nice. So now I've got it backed up just on here. Although with this, I do have a little bit more control over some of the effects and whatever, so I will keep it saved. But I guess in a pinch, if I just wanted to play it on this, I have it saved in this slot here. So this is like the melodic part that I basically dealt with on here. Pretty cool stuff. All right, let's go ahead and do another one here from scratch. We'll do new project. And I don't even know what melodic sample I want to work with, so we're gonna shop around, see if I can find something cool in my loops folder. Got like a million in here. Hopefully I don't get the copyright, but we'll see. This is kind of a vibe. This will be fun to chop up, I think. All right, so let's record this in. And I think for this one, I'll probably try and focus mostly on just using Lofi12XT on its own. So how are my levels? Could probably turn it up a little bit. Yeah, that should be fine. Okie dokie. And then of course we want to pitch it back down now. Oh, whoops. Oh yeah, you know what? Let me do the MIDI off on this since I'm not going to be really doing any MIDI of any sort. So we're going to do config, MIDI out, no. Sounds pretty dope. All right, let's get chopping. Oops. Yeah, so there's 16 slices you can do, but to do the 16th, you have to hold this button down and then push this. That's how they implemented it. Okay. Let me just make sure these are all good. Oh, let me turn velocity sensitivity off too, so that when I press it, it's max volume and I don't gotta hammer these pads too hard. Sound pretty chill. And then we're going to set them to a mute group. You can also reduce the pitch further if we want. So function C. So now when I turn the C knob, it's going to do it all in one semitone at a time. I think -2 sounds cool, so we're going to keep it there. And yeah, let's try and sequence something in here. Oh, I got to change the tempo too. It's at 120. Yikes. So let's do try like 86, I guess. Might have to change that again, but we'll see. Live saying you get the most of your group boxes out of your group boxes, you know, all the parameters and tricks. I'm telling you, man, I study. The sampler is just such a crazy instrument to me because you can just totally take like a recording of something and just do like millions of different things with it. So yeah, man, I don't know how to play any instruments, but I do know how to play the sampler, so there's that. But yeah, definitely a lot of cool stuff you can do with regards to changing parameters, doing filters and envelopes and all the rest of it. So yeah, definitely I like to learn the tricks, that's for sure. All right, let's get some drums in here. Boom, boom, ka, boom, ka, something like that. Just record this in, see how it sounds. Might have to do like an envelope on it. I like this kick, so we're going to record it in. Usually it takes me like a million years to find the right drums, but this time I'm coming up lucky, hitting the jackpot here. Hat 0053. It's got kind of like a wind chime thing going on there. Oh, it's pretty loud too. So we're gonna turn it down. Try adding some delay to it to get kind of like a double hi-hat pattern. I gotta dial it in, give me a sec here. Subtle. Alright, so my goal there was to create just a basic rhythm section, and then now I can come back to the sample chops and like not have it sound super duper loopy. So let's see if I can play something interesting now that I've got the drums kind of built out. Nice. So I feel like I've got the sample chop sequence sufficiently complex. Basically, yeah, I started with a 2-bar section that I played in live, and then I was kind of like trying to find notes that I could add in between. So yeah, doing sample chops just on the quarter notes, sometimes it gets a little bit repetitive. So it's good to try to add in a couple, like, you know, other things that sort of give it a little bit more movement. Like for instance, this is like a double trigger of that kind of like bass note. And then on this page, I don't think I have anything too crazy going on, but this one I added here. It's like doom dum dum dum, so it's just a little bit different. So it's all mostly on the quarter note. I switch it up every now and then. All right, what else do we got here? Let's record it in. Barely loud enough, but then it's going to get normalized. So you'll notice something interesting here. So this note, when I recorded it, I was holding it for longer, but since it's at the end of the pattern, basically once it reaches the end, it just cuts it off and stops playing it. So it's like tss, instead of tss. So there's like kind of a workaround for this. Basically what you can do is you can parameter lock the release of just that note to be longer. So I'm going to do that by going to the amp page, which I'm on, holding the numbered step button down, and then turning the release knob to increase it. And let's see what 33 sounds like. Maybe a little more. So now it's like holding for a little bit longer. So it's not bad. I'm so interested in the sample, but like, take a listen here. It's like an interesting kind of vocalist, but there's the Rhodes too. But I feel like it's too busy with the Rhodes. But I think with the high pass filter, we could just isolate the type thing and like have that just be in the beat. So let me try recording this in. I don't think I need to pitch it up or anything. I could just record it in. Dang it. Yeah, I tried to make it not loop there, but it did anyways. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is go to the filter page, get that high pass going. Let me turn off velocity sensitivity too. And turn it down because it's going to be hella loud now. Or maybe not. Alright, I gotta figure out how I want to work this in. Yeah, usually with samples like this, I try to find at least 2 pitches that kind of work well with the arrangement. I feel like this is really the only pitch that I can get to fit though. Maybe I can put some effects on it to kind of make it sound a little more interesting. that, but I'm gonna keep shopping around. Let's check my other folder here. Got some really wacky stuff in here. Could jazz up the rhythm section by recording in some drum rolls, whatever this is. I kind of dig it. Definitely got to slice it though, so let's do that real quick. This snare roll is going to be really nice. Maybe the tom drum too to kind of just throw things off a bit. All right, and then we got to do a choke group. know what you're thinking. It's sounding very busy, but basically the reason why I'm trying to pack as many notes as possible into this one phrase is that I'm going to clone it out and then remove some from like certain parts of it and some from others. So generally that's how I work with this thing, is I try and put like as much as I can in, make it super busy, and then you can kind of like copy it out and start removing stuff from certain half or other halves or whatever. So right now it's like there's a ton of notes in. So we're going to do clone it, function, then turn the A knob. So now I've got 2 of it, and from here I can start to like kind of dial it back a little bit. track left. So let's find some more cool sounds. The accordion, but it caught my eye there. This one's kind of interesting. Let's see if we can make it work. So we're gonna record it in. Boing, wow, wow. So yeah, definitely got to chop it up. So let's get that out of the way. a bad layer. Yo, be jamming. What's up, man? Dude, appreciate you stopping by and saying what's up. Yeah, it's chilling over here. How's it going with you? fun, beat repeat. Dude, heck yeah, that's what's up. Yeah, it's starting to cool down, which is nice. Finally feels like it's fall in California. Mess around with this snip loop effect. I feel like I don't use it too much. There's like some kind of interesting stuff you can do. Let's see if I can figure it out. What's up, man? Congrats. Yeah, man. Keep it up. That's dope. Yeah, so clearly I don't know what the heck I'm doing with the snip loop. I am still trying to figure out exactly what the purpose of it is, because it's very similar to the beat repeat effect, which is called remix, except you can like kind of control the balance of it, I guess. So you could have it be like fully beat repeated or fully not, or you can kind of mix between the two, as opposed to the remix effect, which it just does the beat repeat type stuff. There's no like balance of it. So I don't know, maybe there's just like more control you can do. You can adjust the length too. There's something going on here, but I gotta figure it out and practice it. Excuse me. Something going on there. I don't know what. And then B-Jamin says, B-Jamin says, I was using those techniques you showed in your previous video with recording in from external and created a little Isaac Hayes type joint playing the bass. Oh, dude, that's what's up. Yeah, actually, my video tomorrow is going to be like a more kind of succinct explanation of those techniques. So definitely keep an eye out for that and see if there's any new tricks there that help you kind of get where you need to be. But yeah, man, that's dope that you're able to take it and run. Yeah, this thing is like, it's got some interesting kind of sample recording possibilities and stuff. So definitely some cool things you can do there for sure. And then Bluetooth MIDI by a small dongle. Yeah, I don't know if you've seen people talk about the, I forget what it's called. It's like the WIDI jack or something, CME WIDI jack. But yeah, I think that's like a small like Bluetooth thing. You have to like plug cables into it and then plug them into the M8. But yeah, if you're not familiar with that, maybe just look up like, yeah, I think it's called Bluetooth WIDI or something, or MIDI or something. Can't remember. Yeah, because the WIDI, it's like the W stands for wireless, I guess. So it's like a wireless MIDI thing. I don't know. That might help you out, but yeah, I don't have too much experience with Bluetooth. None of my samplers and stuff have Bluetooth capabilities, so I don't mess around with it too much. But I know if you use like, iPad and other things to make music, Bluetooth can be an important part of that workflow. So, oh yeah, the CME WIDI jack. Yeah, that might be able to get you where you need to be with the Bluetooth MIDI there, because I'm pretty sure it would work with this. Or maybe it needs external power. Ugh. Yeah, I don't really know, to be honest with you. Oh, USB-C. Yeah, man. That's it's gonna be tricky. Yeah, the USB on this is cool because if you plug it into like a computer or like your phone or whatever, it can do a lot of interesting stuff, but it doesn't really have like the independent USB like host kind of stuff. Like it can be a USB device, but not like a host. I don't know exactly how to explain it, but yeah, some things you would expect to work over USB that don't, and other things work very nicely. It's kind of the long and short of it. All right, I'm trying to think about what else I want to do with this beat. Nice. All right, cool. Well, yeah, I saved that beat, so good thing I didn't forget to do that. And yeah, that one turned out pretty chill. So 2 beats for today. I think that's probably where I'm gonna call it. Take a break, maybe eat some lunch or something. But yeah, just want to say thank you everyone for stopping by, rocking out with me, chilling. And I have a video coming out tomorrow, which I mentioned earlier when BJamin was talking about using that technique that I mentioned with the recording the samples in, using the external in or whatever. So yeah, be sure to keep an eye out for that. It's going to be on the Dirty Wave M8, how to record audio, whether it's just normally or in sync or whatever. I cover a couple different options there. So that's coming out tomorrow. Oh, and then let me check the chat here. The Scientist says, "Hi Jay, first time here. Found you looking for info about Lofi12XT and your content is very helpful, my man. Maybe I purchase it." Dude, heck yeah. Yeah, I appreciate you saying that. Yeah, yeah, I'm definitely not a Sonicware salesman, so I will give you an honest opinion about it, which is that I think it's pretty dope. You know, there's some stuff that is pretty cool about it, and it's a very versatile and flexible box. So that's my honest thoughts. But yeah, hope y'all take it easy and hope to catch you on the next one. But until then, peace.